Become mentally tough. Don't make yourself weak. If you can't even clean up your own room, who the hell are you to change the world? That's where we begin, because here's the brutal truth. Life is suffering. And if you are not prepared to face that suffering voluntarily, it will break you. The world is harsh, cold, indifferent, and it does not care about your excuses. But you have the capacity, the moral obligation, to confront that reality, to face it head on, and to make yourself strong. Mental toughness is not a luxury, it's a necessity. We live in an age where people are encouraged to be soft, to avoid discomfort, to blame the system, to point outward, always outward when things fall apart. But what they are really doing is making themselves weak, and when you make yourself weak, the chaos of life will devour you. So how do you become mentally tough? First, take responsibility. Look around you. Look at your own life. Is your room in order? Are your relationships honest? Are you carrying yourself with integrity? You start with what's close. You clean up what's near. You put yourself together before you march out to fix the world. Second, face what you fear. Stop avoiding the dragon at the gate. What you most need to find is often hiding where you least want to look. The things you avoid, the difficult conversations, the painful truths, the sacrifices you know you should make, those are the things that will forge you into someone capable. Mental toughness comes from voluntarily confronting the things that terrify you. Third, stop lying to yourself and to others. Every time you say something you don't believe, every time you pretend to be someone you're not, you chip away at your own strength. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. It's hard, but that's where genuine resilience comes from. Finally, aim at something meaningful. Without purpose, you are a ship without a rudder. Pick something worth the suffering, because there will be suffering, and aim at it. Align yourself with it. Sacrifice your short-term comfort for long-term meaning. Understand this: you are not okay the way you are, but you could be. You are a creature with immense potential, but potential is not realized automatically. It takes effort, discipline, sacrifice, and courage. Do not make yourself weak. Do not look for the easy way out. Instead, confront the chaos, voluntarily shoulder the burden, become someone formidable, someone others can rely on when the storms of life hit, and they will. Because the alternative, helplessness, resentment, nihilism, will destroy you. So start today. Clean your room, speak the truth, aim high, and become the person who can stand up straight with their shoulders back, no matter what life throws at them. Thank you. Here are 6 important key points from the speech. 1. Take responsibility for yourself. Start by cleaning up your own life. Put your house in order before trying to fix the world. 2. Confront what you fear. Face the difficult, uncomfortable things you're avoiding. Growth and strength come through voluntary struggle. 3. Stop lying, especially to yourself. Build inner strength by telling the truth and living with authenticity, even when it's hard. 4. Aim at meaning, not comfort. Pursue meaningful goals that justify the suffering of life, rather than chasing short-term pleasure or ease. 5. Accept suffering as part of life. Understand that life is filled with pain and difficulty, and toughness is developed by learning to bear that burden. 6. Develop yourself into someone reliable. Become the person others can depend on during hardship, someone resilient, disciplined, and courageous. One of the most foundational principles in developing mental toughness is the idea of taking responsibility for yourself. This means looking honestly at your own life and acknowledging that there are things within your control that you can improve, no matter how small they may seem. It's easy to point fingers outward, to blame society, your family, your job, or your circumstances for the chaos and dissatisfaction in your life. But the path to genuine strength begins when you stop doing that and turn your attention inward. A powerful example Jordan Peterson often gives is the simple act of cleaning your room. On the surface, this might sound trivial, but it represents something far deeper. If you cannot bring order to your immediate surroundings, if you cannot manage the space you live in, how can you expect to bring order to the larger, more complicated arenas of your life or the world? It's a symbolic and practical first step. By taking responsibility for small, concrete tasks, you begin building the discipline and confidence to tackle larger challenges. When you take responsibility, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of fate or circumstance, and instead recognize yourself as an active agent in shaping your own life. This shift in mindset transforms how you face difficulties. Instead of crumbling under pressure or waiting for someone else to save you, you start asking yourself, what can I do right now to make this situation better? That question is powerful because it gives you agency, and agency is at the heart of mental toughness. Importantly, responsibility is not just about burden, it's about meaning. When you willingly shoulder responsibility, you give your actions significance. You move from chaos toward order, and in doing so, you make yourself stronger, more capable, and more prepared for the inevitable struggles of life. Facing what you fear is one of the most transformative steps toward developing mental toughness. Fear has a way of expanding when you avoid it. It grows in the dark corners of your mind, gaining power over your thoughts and actions. What you fear the most often hides the very thing you need to confront in order to grow. Avoidance may bring temporary relief, but over time it erodes your confidence and deepens your sense of helplessness. To become mentally tough, you must train yourself to approach rather than retreat from the things that unsettle you. This doesn't mean recklessly plunging into danger or seeking out unnecessary suffering. It means carefully and voluntarily stepping toward the challenges, uncertainties, and uncomfortable truths that you instinctively want to run from. For example, having a difficult conversation, facing a long, ignored personal failure, or taking on a task that intimidates you. These are often the kinds of experiences that help you break through the limits you've unconsciously placed on yourself. Each time you confront fear, you strengthen your capacity to face the next challenge. By facing fear, you also teach yourself something critical, that you are capable of withstanding discomfort. You learn that fear itself is often exaggerated in your mind, and once you step into it, it becomes more manageable than you imagined. This process builds resilience, courage, and a sense of mastery over your own life. You begin to trust yourself more deeply, knowing that you can handle what life throws at you instead of collapsing under pressure. Avoiding fear makes you smaller and weaker over time, but confronting it makes you stronger, more competent, and ultimately more free. It's this willingness to voluntarily face fear that separates the fragile from the resilient, the weak from the mentally tough. Stop lying especially to yourself, because every time you do, you weaken the foundation of your character and make yourself less capable of handling life's challenges. Lies create a false reality, one that temporarily shields you from discomfort but ultimately distances you from what is real and meaningful. When you lie, even about small things, you undermine your integrity and sacrifice long-term strength for short-term ease. Over time, this builds a fragile self-image that cannot withstand difficulty because it is based on avoidance and deception rather than truth and resilience. Telling the truth is not always easy. In fact, it often requires considerable courage. It means confronting situations as they are, not as you wish they were. It means admitting when you are wrong, acknowledging your flaws, and being willing to face the consequences of honesty. But in doing so, you develop a sense of authenticity and inner solidity that no lie can provide. You start to trust yourself because you know you are willing to see reality clearly and respond to it honestly. Without that trust, mental toughness is impossible because you cannot rely on someone, even yourself, who is always twisting the truth. Living truthfully also reshapes your relationships. It creates a foundation of respect and clarity, even if it sometimes leads to conflict or discomfort. People may not always like what you have to say, but they will recognize that you are grounded in something real. Most importantly, telling the truth teaches you to navigate life with your eyes open. It allows you to confront problems directly instead of burying them. which in turn builds resilience. Lies may offer temporary safety, but they make you brittle. Truth, even when it's painful, makes you tough, adaptable, and ultimately free. Chasing meaning rather than comfort is a central part of building mental toughness. Life is full of difficulties, setbacks, and suffering, and if your primary goal is to avoid discomfort or pain, you will quickly find yourself overwhelmed and defeated. Comfort is fleeting. It fades the moment things become hard, which they inevitably will. Meaning, on the other hand, gives you a reason to endure hardship and pushes you to grow beyond your limitations. When you align your life with something meaningful, you accept that suffering is part of the journey, and you find the strength to keep moving forward despite it. Meaning doesn't have to come from something grand or dramatic. It can emerge from small but important commitments: caring for your family, pursuing a craft or discipline, standing up for your principles, or improving your community. These are the kinds of pursuits that give life depth and purpose, even when they demand sacrifice. The pursuit of meaning gives you direction and shapes your character, transforming pain into something valuable instead of something merely to be endured. Choosing comfort over meaning often leads to stagnation, resentment, and despair. It makes you vulnerable to life's unpredictable nature because you're constantly trying to shield yourself from discomfort rather than developing the resilience to face it. But when you aim at meaning, you voluntarily take on challenges that strengthen you. You train yourself to withstand failure, disappointment, and even suffering because you understand that these experiences are part of achieving something worthwhile. Meaning offers a kind of psychological armor. It transforms hardship into opportunity, making you less likely to collapse under pressure. By aiming at something meaningful, you become the kind of person who can withstand the storms of life not because life is easy, but because you've chosen a path worth struggling for. Accepting that suffering is an unavoidable part of life is essential for developing true mental toughness. Many people fall into the trap of believing that life should be easy, fair, or comfortable, and when they encounter pain, loss, or failure, they feel betrayed or crushed. But suffering is not an exception in life. It is a fundamental part of the human experience. Whether it's disappointment, grief, illness, rejection, or struggle, everyone will face hardship at some point. The difference between those who collapse under the weight of suffering and those who rise stronger lies in their attitude toward it. When you recognize suffering as inevitable, you stop wasting energy on resentment or self-pity and start focusing on how you can respond to it. This shift in mindset turns you from a passive victim of life into an active participant in your own development. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "How can I carry this burden and what can I learn from it?" That question alone is transformative because it opens the door to growth, resilience, and even wisdom. Learning to carry the weight of suffering doesn't mean you become cold or detached. It means you become courageous and grounded, aware that pain is part of life's bargain and that avoiding it only makes you weaker. The willingness to bear suffering gives you a kind of quiet strength and ability to stand firm when others fall apart. It prepares you for life's unpredictability and teaches you that your character is built not in the absence of struggle, but in your response to it. By embracing the reality of suffering, you free yourself from the illusion of a pain, free life, and step into a position of strength. That is where true mental toughness is forged. Becoming someone others can rely on during difficult times is a powerful measure of mental toughness. Life is unpredictable, and there will always be moments when chaos strikes, whether through personal loss, family crises, work challenges, or societal upheaval. In these moments, people naturally look for someone solid, someone they can lean on, someone who can stand firm when everything else is shaking. Developing yourself into that kind of person is not just a gift to others, it is a profound source of strength and purpose for yourself. Being reliable doesn't mean you never struggle or have doubts. It means you have cultivated the discipline, resilience, and inner stability to remain composed when it counts. You are able to regulate your emotions, think clearly under pressure, and offer support to others without falling apart yourself. This kind of strength is not innate, it's built through repeated challenges, small acts of responsibility, and the willingness to carry weight without collapsing. Over time, you become the person people turn to not because you have all the answers, but because you have the character to face hardship without being destroyed by it. When you become reliable, you also gain a deeper sense of meaning in your own life. Knowing that others can count on you gives you purpose beyond your own needs or desires. It challenges you to live up to something higher, to be more disciplined, more courageous, and more compassionate. And as you strengthen yourself for the sake of others, you become more capable of handling your own challenges as well. Mental toughness is not just about individual survival, it's about becoming a foundation for others when the world becomes chaotic. In doing so, you not only help others survive, you help them thrive. 10 Rules to Transform Your Life in 2025 is a powerful and inspiring motivational speech drawing from the wisdom of Jordan Peterson. This speech offers practical, no-nonsense rules to help you take control of your life, build mental toughness, and face challenges head-on. It emphasizes personal responsibility, discipline, honesty, and the pursuit of meaning over comfort. Designed to push you beyond excuses and self-doubt, these rules will guide you to clean up your life, confront your fears, and become someone strong, reliable, and purpose-driven. Start 2025 with the mindset to transform yourself and shape your own future.